Hello everybody, I am Nu-Trix, and today we're looking at a firmware update for Arturia MiniFreak. I just love the fact that a company brings in new features into an existing hardware and software. In this case, the MiniFreak V also has the update, and the MiniFreak hardware, of course, has it. It brings Wavetable, factory Wavetable, so you cannot add your own Wavetable to it. I'm guessing somewhere down the line, but right now you have Wavetable. But well, it's like in the Microfreak, they say it's a better engine, less aliasing, and higher quality in the engine of the Wavetables. That's pretty cool. That's one thing. There's a new effect called Super Unison. So it's a big, wide sound you can make with that new effect. Oscillator free run for the noise and everything that noise engineering has put into this. Also, the macro assignment now has modulation depth control, which is pretty cool. And little things like new features in the clock and in something called favorite panel. Let's just dive in right away. So we have right now a init sound, they call it a default. So I'm going to go into the first oscillator and I'm going to look for the last one is the wavetable. So now when we have wavetable, you have wave. When you press wave, you're actually playing with a position inside the wave. You're moving inside the wavetables. Now, just to be sure, if you don't know, a wavetable is basically a list of samples, fixed cycles, if you want, complex or simple, and you're basically moving index inside the table of the list of samples. So it's a way to have a evolution in the oscillator if you want, but it's not an oscillator. It's a recorded fixed value, but you have many of them. You're just moving between them. So you have here the wave, you're moving the position. That's why we call it like that. Okay, then we have the pulse width. So you're playing with, and we have the filter here. So you already can cut low. Actually, just keep the low, cut the highs, and keep the highs and just cut the lows. So again, this is useful in the fact that this is a 2-oscillator layered synth. So you can say that if you're just wanting this to be the high end of the synth and the other sound on oscillator 2, you use it for the bass. So then you could use that filter to separate the two if you want to. Okay? So this is the pulse width. So you see what it does? It changes like a pulse width modulation. But now, let's say we want to change the wavetable. So there's a quick way. You press on Shift and you move the type. And you see here, you're changing from a list. Now, if you do this and you let go the Shift, you're back to the type. So if you really want to just play and change this, when you're in the type wavetable, if you click on Sound Edit, and you go into the oscillator, and then you move down to Wavetable Select, you press on it, and then you've got the list here. Now, you stay on this, and you go. But that's just one, because now, again, remember that you're going through all of this. So what I'll do, just for fun, we're going to assign the envelope, maybe the cycling envelope. This one I want to assign to wave. So I'll go back to this one here, wave. So you hear this going through all the position of that wavetable. So if we go back again to Sound Edit, oscillator, go back to Wavetable Select. Now if I try another one. That is sync. This one has distortion in it. As that feedback into this. The folding, you hear the form. Fold again. Play a funky fade. That's pretty cool. The harmonics. So that's all the different wavetables that are part of it. And you cannot add your own. It's really the factory, which is normal for a lot of wavetable based. So they pick all of these oscillators. We hear them moving. We hear all the harmonic coming in and out. You can see on the graph all the other harmonics coming in. So it's just like having a new 32, I think it's 32, new different oscillators that has a lot of complexity in it. So that's pretty cool. This is pretty cool. And by itself, they have that evolution of sound that you don't need a filter. Of course, you can have filter on top of it. So it means that this oscillator could be bypassing the filter if you want and still have a lot of evolution in the sound. Let's bring this with the effect that is the Super Unison. Oh, that's not the first one. Dry wet, I'll say half and half, maybe a little bit more intensity. That's a high, low pass and high pass, same thing. You can still also go into here and say, there's a different type. There's classic, ravey. So the Super Unison is kind of a chorus slash, well, it's a unison. It's many different time this sound played together, detune and wide. So different ways to play it. And don't forget about the shift and the sub. You've got more control over that. Give you other sound with it. Another new control is that you have a shaper LFO. So if you go to the LFO and you go to the last option of LFO here, You get many of them. And then the last one is the shaper. The new thing is that when you go into the edit, you go into the LFO, and you say sample shaper LFO 1 rate. It's 1 step or all step, and it actually changes the speed of it. If I go 1 step, that's it. It follows the tempo. But if you go here and say, so one is the whole thing or just 1 step. That's the difference. In the macros, you also have a new feature. When you assign them, let's go Shift Assign, and I assign it to Cutoff. When you press on it, you go here and you decide how much you want it, the depth of it. So I could say the depth is only. Don't forget I still have the LFO active. So you can control the amount that you want, and it can be positive or negative. So you can invert stuff. So that's really cool. When you browse your synthesizer, you can also save patches that you find interesting. I like this one. I'm going to go Shift, Save, and I press 7 here. So I just recorded it here. So now if I want to listen to it, if I want to go back to the favorite, I've got this one here. Or I get this one. So I've got all of these, actually, with these options of switching, I've got 64 favorites I can just assign from here. So from all the sound you have in it, this is a quick way to go. Click Save, and you're in favorite mode. It stays lit. Click on it again with Shift, and it goes back to normal function. You go like this. Now when you press here, you're moving between favorites. Pretty cool. Quick access to what you really like. So that's it. New features 2.0, firmware for the MiniFreak. The Wavetable is something that people were asking for. It's there. Now we can actually use it. And the other features are just like cool little advancement. That's it for today. Stay safe, make more music, and see you soon. Cheers.